Welcome to this demo of the custom Zendesk Help Center themes built by Premium Plus. Premium Plus is a Zendesk Premier partner. We're based in Europe. We provide consultancy services on Zendesk Ultimate Aircall related products. We also have a development team which builds marketplace apps, custom integrations for your CRM systems or other tools you use in the company. And we also build custom Help Center teams. These teams could either be the marketplace teams, which you're looking at now, which are ready to use customizable teams available on the Zendesk marketplace, or could be fully custom teams where we build a team from scratch based on your branding and styling guidelines. This video today will focus on our marketplace teams, which is a collection of around a dozen teams that we built over the years that are available to install in your Zendesk instance. The teams range from our Sydney team and Cape Town team, which cater, for example, to our travel industry with big pictures, big headers, and a very bright looking feeling. We also have our sport collection with Dribble, Crawl, Punch, and 11, which are focused on sports and events and allow you to tweak and map the design to the colors and look and feel of your sports team, event venue, or similar industry. We have our Code Monkey team, which is focused on technology development and documentation. So it's a help center team that really is useful when you have long written text, steps to follow, and in-depth documentation on your product. And then we have, for example, Stockholm, which is our one-size-fits-all team, which is highly customizable like the other teams and can be completely branded to match your preferences and styling. So in this demo, we are going to modify our default Stockholm theme, which is one of our more popular themes on the marketplace, to match the branding and design of Disney. Well, everybody knows Disney, so this way we can make it feel familiar. Like I mentioned, our themes come right from the marketplace. You can test them, you can trial them before you commit to buying them, and any change you do during the trial will be saved once you enable the real version of your theme, so you can safely test, play around, and try out the themes for your liking. All editing happens in the admin panel of the Zendesk marketplace. No code is required, so you can make a lot of changes to the theme out of the box without knowing any HTML, CSS, or pulling a developer in your company. This theme comes with a set of presets. On the left side, we have a menu with a lot of options to tweak the theme, and basically any setting in the theme can be changed or modified to your liking. When it comes to branding, one of the first things we want to do is, of course, change the logo of the theme. So I'm going to add the Disney logo here, and I'm also going to add a white version of the logo. Why two? Well, websites have a dark and a light mode, so that way we can align the logo and show the logo either on a dark mode device at night or in light mode during the day. And it follows the preferences of the customer. We're also going to add a favicon, so it looks nice in Google previews. And then we already have a slightly branded theme, which looks a little bit more like the Disney we expect. Naturally, branding is all about colors. So for our theme 2, we're going to need to be able to add some colors to our theme. So we're going to change the primary color of the theme to a certain hue. If you like it, you can keep it. If you say, yeah, this is a bit too aggressive, too bold, you can play around with the different colors in your branding until you find a color that's to your liking. Themes also come with a secondary color. These are often used for like secondary buttons, maybe some navigation arrows to show hierarchy in the theme, and that way we can tweak around, playing around with the theme. And we can also, of course, change both the front primary background color, secondary background color, so this way the entire theme looks and feels like you would expect it, up to the level of, for example, our links. We can also change the color of the links so they align with your preferences. And this way, the theme already feels yet a little bit more like to how you want your theme to look. There are light mode colors. Naturally, there are also dark mode colors. You can choose to prefer the color scheme of the end user. That means if they look on the device, like I mentioned, at night, it will show dark, and at day, it will show the light mode. Or you can choose to always have a dark mode theme. And at that moment, when we always enable the dark mode theme, then the theme will always have this darker color. And as you notice, the logo will automatically switch to the light mode, the light version of the logo, so it's visible if we want to. Now for this demo, we're going to keep it on the light mode. We also can change text. So we can change the font, maybe from a classic Lato to, for example, a Montserrat. We can also choose to go to the native fonts from the system, and then it will use the San Francisco Roboto or variant fonts that are provided on the system, so you don't need external ones. We can also play around with font sizes, so if you want your headers to be a little bit darker, then you can also change that, and at that moment the text size of your body text in your articles, your headers, like you see here, everything will follow along with regards to sizing. Second, we look at layout. So out of the box, the theme fills the entire screen. There is a max width on the content because you don't want too big of a screen, you don't want to scroll from left to right entirely, but it fills the entire screen with the background colors, and all the objects basically go from left to right. If you want to, you can set it up as a container view. That doesn't do anything on the small preview like here, but if you jump to the big theme, to the bigger view, you see that now the screen or the layout is a little bit more containered, and there is a background, and the content is constrained on left and right. We can also play around with the section styles, so we can choose if you want to have the section styles, for example, to be filled, versus if you don't have them filled, we can have them completely blank, or we can separate them with lines. We can change the border radius, so now these are all nicely bordered, but maybe our guidelines say they have to be a little bit more nuanced, so if you change it, the border radius of our fonts changes. So that's yet another one that we can fully tweak. So far, we've only looked at colors, logos, fonts, but of course, all the elements in the theme can also be changed. If you start top to bottom, first thing we can change is our header. Logo on the middle, and on the left and right, there are elements. But we can also change it to a second type where the logo is on the left, and then all the contents or all the navigation stuff is on the right. So that's one that more closely aligns to what we want to do with regards to branding. And within each style, so either left aligned or center aligned, we can then choose between this one, which is a white background color, follows your primary background color. We can add the blue one, which feels a little bit more Disney. It's the Disney blue. We can also choose to have the same blue, but without a gradient, so it's just a plain blue if we want to. And we can also go for a fully dark mode, which just uses the dark navigation bar. Now, I kind of like that white one. Let's stick with that. As you see, if you scroll, the content disappears between the header. If you don't want that, you can turn it off. And then at that moment, the theme or the navigation bar will jump under the content or stay there, so you can choose. This shows a list of categories on the Help Center, so we have our general category on the Help Center. But if you want to, we can also change this to go to no link. So if you want clean, not as much content, or what a lot of people do is they want to go for the custom link, and we can maybe say back to disney.com and add a link to the website, and if people click on this, they go back to the website at that moment. And well, this Help Center is logged in. If I click on it, I can go to the profile requests activities. If I don't want my customers to be able to log in, because this is public for everyone and we don't really work with accounts, you can disable this option. Then you see that the login option has disappeared from the menu bar completely. Similar to the header, we can also change the layout and look and feel of our main welcome block. We have a few options there. So one is the option that I showed, which we have now, which has search on the left and an image on the right. We can also change it to another design where we only have search and no image, or we can change it to a second design where we have a centered aligned search. And then of course we have our type 3, which has a graphic on it. With the graphic, we can also play around. So we can say we have a background image with the text. We can also have a plain background with the image, or we can have a third one, which basically has the one that we just showed, the white background. Kind of like that big background on the side. That's nice, because that allows me to change the background image and choose, for example, this image that we prepped. And now this website completely looks like Disney. It has a nice graphic, it says Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse on the left, and you have your search on the right. Similarly, we can also choose a darker image if you want to for the navigation in dark mode. So if you would look at this website in dark mode, it would switch to this image, which is more appropriate for like a dark mode preview. You'll notice that there is a slight overlay on the image. That helps with popping white text on a light image background. If you don't like that, we can disable the option, but you won't have that distinction between text and image as much. And of course, we can add some custom text here, and now it looks and feels like we want. So that's the welcome bar. That feels good. Let's move on to the next section. Next section are helpers. They allow you to link to content without or highlight content on your help center or external resources on your website in the navigation. So if customers look for an issue or problem, they can directly jump to the right item instead of needing to search or navigate the entire structure of your help center. Helpers have a few styles, like anything on the website. So we can choose for round, like small icons with text, or we can choose for bigger images. And then we can choose, just like navigation bar, for a white background. We can choose for a branded background in the color of your primary brand color, or we can change to a fully branded dark color behind it. This website feels like a very light website with all the colors. It's very soft, so it shows this first option. If you don't like the helpers, you can always disable them too, but they're kind of nice to just directly link to like your release notes, a new item, a big topic. And for each of the helpers, we can upload the image to the helper. Images are stored within Zendesk, so you don't need an external CDN or hosting service. You can just upload them, and they're stored within the Zendesk environment and automatically rescaled to be appropriate for the design of the element that you want. So let's add 3 images here. And now that we have the images, we also want to add some text. So this is, for example, about the parks. Second part are the category blocks. So there's a few options to handle this. You could have a category on the Zendesk Help Center. If people click on the category, then go to the list, they see the sections, they see the articles within that list. But the other option you could do is also allow the customer to basically browse the entire Help Center there. So you have 2 options there. Either one is something you can choose. In my case, I'm going to decide to not show the entire Help Center content because I have a lot of articles and I prefer people to search, but I do want to have blocks that show like the general sections, so people who just want to browse around on the Help Center have the options there. White on white doesn't read that well in my case because the branding is very light, so I want to have my buttons a little bit of a pop so they are more nicely visible on the website. Similar to highlighting specific links and highlighting my categories, Zendesk also has promoted articles. This allows you to dynamically show what's shown on the homepage by just checking certain articles for promoted or not, and if they are, they're shown on the website. And here too we have a few options. So we have this one, promoted articles, with a few articles on the left. We also have an option where we show all the promoted articles, but show the content of the article, at least a preview of it, in line on the Help Center. Kind of like this one because this way it's different from just links. People see content, actionable content on the homepage, and if they click on it, they can read those articles. And then the last one is our recent activity. Here again, a few options to style it, so you can choose which one you like, but this pops up like the most recently updated articles on your Help Center. It's really useful when you have a lot of changing content on your Help Center. Now in our case, since all articles are like kind of old, our Help Center is done already but kind of static, I don't want to show this just to not overload the customer with options. So we have our search, we have our helpers, articles. We highlight a few articles with content so people see that there is actually content on the Help Center which helps them. And then in the end, we have our call to action because if all else fails, we escalate. So at that moment, we have our call to action. Now, I kind of want to have this like be parallel to the header. We have this option again with text in the middle or text on the left, choice like before. And now we can choose for a small graphic. We can choose for a small graphic with a bold color. Or the one I'm going to choose is this third one, yet again, that soft image on the background. But since this is the end of the website, I'm going to swap around my images. So I'm going to put the dark image at the bottom because footers tend to be darker. And I'm going to use the same footer for dark mode So we have it there. And then we can also add some text. We can change the text here, text there. And if we publish this, our call to action. And now we have the footer. Like I mentioned, I want to have this footer like fade over to the call to action. Should be a little bit more dark. So no, I don't want the blue one. I want to have a dark one. So that's the dark one. This color is also set in the colors on top. So you can choose which one you want there. The copyright, well, this is the Disney demo, not for real, just to make sure we don't have any copyright issues. And now we can choose which social channels we want. So by default, we have Facebook, we have Xcorp, we have YouTube, we have LinkedIn. Well, we've got a variety of channels, so let's enable a few of those. And these show up in the footer of the Help Center, so people can quickly click on those and get support or information about your brand from that list there in the footer. Zendesk has more than just the homepage, and like we mentioned, there are articles on the Help Center. So if you, for example, look at our Jolly Roger article, we can also tweak this styling a little bit. If we dive in, like you see, we have a page with a full header, a heavy header on top. We can also have a page which has our homepage image. I like this one because it kind of brings back that ID from the homepage. And the third one we have is just a plain old header. Now I want a visual, so I'm going for my image on the background, image from the homepage. And there again, we can choose between two types. So everything stacked, or if you want to have it more dense, you can align it like this. Then for all the pages, like sections, articles, we can choose how you want to show it. So if you have a lot of content on your page, we can show it as a list like this. Maybe you want to have bluer links, maybe you want to have them in blocks so it's more visually distinct what are the different categories, or you could have a layout which is a little bit wider if you have longer titles. Let's take it like this. For a specific article page, we can also choose what we want to do. Similar to our category pages, for each one of those we can choose what you want to do. Do you want to show dates or not? Sometimes not showing dates is easier because then it doesn't feel like an old article, which is better. People can follow if they want to, both on article and section level. If you don't want people to follow, you can remove those, visually less cluttered. Articles have a share option. If you don't want people to share the content, you can disable that or enable it. And of course, you can disable or enable the vote options. And if you enable vote, then there too, you can choose between the different styles of the. So those are options to change the pages and sections and look and feels of the pages. There's a few options additionally here. If you want to use a new request list experience in Zendesk, you can add that one. Currently it's in beta, but if you're in beta enrolled, you can test it out. And similarly, if you're on the request page where people can see their list of tickets, you can also hide empty fields. That way, if you show a lot of end user fields which are not filled in, that list will be a little bit cleaner. And then the final one that we have is our inject option. Our inject option is one that we specifically added for by request of a lot of developers. What it allows you to do is to add JavaScript, custom CSS, or any kind of code to your website or your help center without modifying the source code. Things like, for example, the ultimate AI widget, if you use that one instead of messaging. Things like Google Tag Manager, if you want to track traffic on your website across your regular website in your help center, and you want to inject your Google Tag code or plausible or other similar tracking code, you can add that to the website. If there is one element that you really don't like, for example, you want to have you want to hide a specific element here, like you don't want to have those bookmark links, those small links, you can, for example, add maybe a custom style element in the list. But this allows you to modify the theme without going into the full source code. But especially for Google Tag Manager and other code, it's very useful. This is an overview of all the options that are available to tweak and modify the Premium Plus Help Center themes. If you take a look back where I started from, this was our default Stockholm theme with the logo, blue colors, images, sections, and articles. And in a minimal amount of time, we managed to change this theme with a custom logo, custom images, and a completely different look and feel for the themes. I hope you like this introduction to our themes. As mentioned, all our themes are available on the Zendesk Marketplace. They are available as both a default standard license theme, which gives you all the options I've just shown in this video, or if you really would want to dive into the custom code, you can buy our developer license. All themes come with a 14-day trial, so you can test them out, check the changes, make your tweaks, test out your branding, and if you really like it, convert it into an active live theme on your Zendesk Help Center. Thanks a lot.